Jesus spoke of a different kind of kingdom, a spiritual kingdom not bound by earthly borders. His message resonated with the common people, but it also stirred unease among the ruling elite. The religious leaders of the day, the Pharisees and Sadducees, held positions of power. They enjoyed a comfortable relationship with the political Roman authorities. The stage was set for a clash between the temporal and the eternal, between truth and what was expedient and easier to follow. Jesus, the Son of God, stood as a threat to the established order. His message of love and forgiveness was seen as subversive by those who clung to power and control. The love of the world caused Judas to join the Sanhedrin in betraying Jesus. But the power needed to kill Jesus was not in the church. It was in the alliance of church and state. Judas' betrayal is a stark reminder of the corrupting influence of power and greed. The Gospels tell us that Judas held the money bag for the group. The love of money took hold of him, and he was willing to sell his soul for it. Two corrupting factors, money and power. He was responsible for their finances. This position of trust may have awakened a desire for more, a desire that would ultimately consume him. The Gospel of Matthew tells us that Judas went to the chief priests and offered to betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. It was the highest church authority, joined with the worldly politician, would climax the betrayal in death. The alliance of church and state was necessary to kill Jesus. The church had no power to do so, but joined with the state it obtained political power to do as it pleased, and do so legally, not by God, but by man. The Gospel of John tells us that Caiaphas viewed Jesus' death as politically expedient. He believed that it was better for one man to die than for the whole nation to perish. This cold calculation reveals the danger of religious authority joined with political state power. When those in positions of religious leadership prioritize their own power over the truth, they become instruments of oppression. The Sanhedrin, greed, power, money, and the desire to maintain control. They manipulated evidence in order to gain power and control, so they could force their religious beliefs on the people. Their actions serve as a sobering reminder of the dangers of religious zealotry and the power gained by church when joined with politics. Section 5, a perilous alliance. The church and state, a delicate balance. The crucifixion of Jesus illustrates the dangers of an unholy alliance between the church and state. When religious institutions become too closely aligned with political power, they risk compromising their spiritual authority. The pursuit of worldly influence can corrupt even the noblest of intentions. History is replete with examples of religious persecution brought on by the church and sanctioned by the state. From the Roman Empire's persecution of early Christians to the Spanish Inquisition, the abuse of power in the name of God has left an indelible mark on human history. The separation of church and state serves as a safeguard against the abuse of power. It allows for religious freedom and prevents the government from dictating matters of faith. Conversely, it prevents religious institutions from wielding undue political influence. As we look at the world we live in, today we see the same alliance being formed by church and state. This stark alliance will become more profound in the months and years ahead. We see signs of the church using politics to enact laws and rules and force allegiance to God. But God never forces allegiance. He gives us the choice to choose to keep his commandments or even pray. The temptation to use religion for political gain remains a constant threat. Throughout history, we see recurring patterns of religious persecution, often fueled by a toxic mix of power, prejudice, and fear. This is the alliance between church and state that will be used by the enemy to bring about the mark of the beast. Remember, the mark of the beast is a religious political power that will rule the world. Worship will be the primary battle, Revelation 13:4-8. And they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. We must not forget that the final battle is a spiritual battle. Armageddon and the mark of the beast are the finally spiritual battles. Revelation 13:7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. These two very impacting events will hinge on the joining of the world, politics, with church, to set in place the mark of the beast, which will be a false religious power that everyone not sealed by God will receive his mark and worship. Worship will be the final mark of the beast. Just like the 3 Hebrew boys, and Daniel was tested on worship. The final battle will be about worship, God or the beast. This mark will have to come through political power joined to a false religious power. Politics and religion will join to set up the kingdom of the beast, a worldwide kingdom. Revelation 13:8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. Because of the greed and the love of money that has crept into churches and preachers' heart, they will institute a world religion for their own benefit, but in doing so will set up the kingdom of the devil, who will perform miracles, a religious act that will be the main deception, Revelation 13:14, and deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. Why will this be? Because religion has gone astray, just like the church in Jesus' day. Power caused them to kill Jesus. The only way to get this power, join with politics as was done in Jesus' day. Pilate, the politician, joined with church, gave the church the power to kill Jesus and persecute those who would not bow. When the focus shifts from serving God to serving self, the spiritual core of faith is eroded. We must hold our religious leaders accountable for their actions now before it is too late. The church should be a beacon of hope and justice, not a haven for greed and corruption. Like Jesus, churches are to be the beacon of light and hope. Our kingdom is not of this world. Christians, we are to build the eternal kingdom as Jesus did, with love and compassion for others. The power needed to crucify Jesus was found in the alliance of church and state, and history is set to repeat itself. When church and state become intertwined, the danger of religious persecution becomes all too real, as it did with Jesus. That is why the Bible tells us, "They that persecute you shall be of your own household." We are living in that very time. As we see these signs, it is time to ensure we are firm in God. Now is the time to seek first the kingdom and hold everything else lightly.